I have been asked a few times recently and have seen some conversations happening over on Threads about surcharging on payments for service providers and small businesses. And I've been asked to share my take on it and thought I would also share it with y'all. Now, I have made a video about credit card processing fees. I'll link it up top, my thoughts on it in general. But Dubsado is getting ready to release a surcharging feature within their native payments, which isn't actually native, it's actually Stripe. So with this new connection with Stripe, you'll be able to actually surcharge your clients a percentage fee. Right now, the only way to really add a surcharge is to add a tax category, but it literally says a tax on the invoice, and it's not really appropriate to what the charge is. So I'm glad that they're giving the option of the surcharge just for different types of businesses, whether they want it or not. The common conversation right now is around credit card processing fees and do you surcharge for those processing fees? And I don't think there's a right or wrong unless you live in one of the states where it is illegal to pass those charges on to your clients, then you do not want to do that. But if you live in a state or in a place where it's not illegal, it's really just a judgment thing, there's no legality to it, then you have the choice on whether or not you want to do it in your business. I hate credit card processing fees. I think that they are absolutely ridiculous. I understand why they first started when credit card companies were really needing to make some money, and we as a culture weren't used to using credit cards all the time. But now with the amount of interest that they charge people, like those credit card companies, I don't know, like why does small businesses have to pay credit card processing fees when we know that those people buying things with a credit card, most likely they're not paying that stuff off every month. So you're making your money. Why are you also taxing on me? Which is why the places I've seen where there's a surcharge for using a credit card, in my experience of going into places to shop, it's usually mom and pop stores, takeout places, restaurants that have a surcharge if you're going to use a credit card. And they don't even accept credit cards for under $10 because then it's like they really lose money because it's you pay a one-time fee every time you swipe the card and the percentage. That is saving that business money, right? So I get why there is a surcharge for the small guy to make sure like they're keeping as many of those pennies in their pocket. Now, as a service provider, personally, I say raise your prices the 5% if you're able to, while still being like in competition for whatever, and to cover your credit card processing fees. But I know that's not reasonable for all service providers. And I have worked for like Dubsado setups with some high-end interior designers and wedding planners who are working with their clients for 18 months to get their dream whatever put together, and they are charging $25,000-$30,000 for those services, and you don't really just want to tack on an extra 5% on top of those large of numbers, because that's a significant increase on your price, on your service price. So it might make more sense, especially with those types of businesses where they're actually meeting in person. Like they often go to meetings with their clients, they're seeing them in person. They would rather receive a check, or sometimes like their clients even like to pay cash for the services rendered, and they want to incentivize paying with either a cash, check, and ACH, because ACH fees are super reasonable. Like they're capped at maybe $10 with Square, it's $5 with Stripe. Those fees are super reasonable. So in order to incentivize paying cash, check, ACH, you add the surcharge for credit card payments. You don't want to actually raise your prices across the board because you want to honor the people who want to pay with their liquid assets and they don't want to use the credit card. So that's really who I think has like the best reasoning for using these surcharges. If you are a coach or a designer. Like, it is up to you if you want to surcharge for your clients. But honestly, like, I don't plan on surcharging ever. I mean, never say never, right? But I feel like for anything under 10 grand, why are you surcharging? I know those credit card fees stink, but just raise your prices a little bit if that's the case, to make sure you're covering them, and make sure you're calculating those and writing them off. Like, they go against your sales, and it's just a deduction on your taxes for your gross profit, and it's fine. You're gonna surcharge, you're still collecting it, you're still doing that. It's all the same. It's all the same. It's really the perception for your client, and what do you want their perception to be. So if you want them to perceive you as someone who would much rather be paid in cash, then surcharge away. If you want to be somebody who is perceived as easy to work with and will take any kind of payment, no questions asked, do not charge a surcharge. And also do what your ideal client would respect you the most for. There are some people who have big feelings around passing credit card processing fees onto your clients. That's not technically what you're doing. You're technically putting a surcharge on to cover any processing fees, but just do it wisely. If your ideal client is going to be turned off by you doing that, then don't do it. Just raise your prices. But if your ideal client gets it and they're like, oh yeah, that's a giant chunk of change you're going to have to pay, I'll just pay you with a check, I don't care, then do it. Like, there is whatever you want to do. Just know your client, know your ideal client, and know what's gonna work best for y'all in your working relationship. You're never going to offend somebody if you don't charge it. You will never make anybody frustrated if you do not pass it on. But if you're clear in your proposals and in your discovery calls and however you onboard clients that there is a surcharge only if they choose to pay with a credit card, otherwise it will be removed, then you're clear with them and they know what to expect. So anyways, it's definitely not a answer to the should I surcharge question, but hopefully gives you some things to think about. I'm somebody who sees things from all sides. I don't know, I'm like, do you guys do Enneagram? I'm Enneagram 5, so I'm kind of like on the outside looking in, observing everything, and I get why people get upset to have those surcharges added to their invoices. Totally get it. But I also totally get the service providers where it's so detrimental to their bottom line that they need to pass it on to their clients in order to encourage a different form of payment. That is ideally what you're doing, is you're trying to get them to save money. Ultimately, it's saving you money, but it's also saving them money, because you will charge them a fee if they want to pay with their credit card. And it might be worth it to them to pay that fee in order to get their airline points or whatever. So no judgment there, but also it's probably easy for them to just cut you a check, grab some cash, pay with the ACH. Like, it's all the same. It's all fine. So anyways, that's my rant for the week. I hope you found this insightful or helpful, and I am curious what your thoughts are on this whole surcharging on invoices. If you dig it, if you're excited for the option, if you're a Dubsado user, hate it and it drives you batty, let me know down below, and I look forward to hearing from you. Again, I'm Lauren. I own the Smarter Creative, helping creative business owners work smarter in their business instead of harder. I like to call myself your fairy biz mother, hence the magic wand. So I will see you guys next week.